Hello guys, this is your host Zach Weaver bringing you Off the Air, a media news show. Today I want to talk to you about Disney's dominating success in the box office with their movies and how Warner Brothers and Paramount have been staying alive through this. Well, not so much Paramount, they've been failing on a monumental level, and how Warner Brothers has had success with outlying films such as It, American Sniper, and Gravity. So, alright, first things first, I want to give you a couple of facts about Disney. Disney has, if they keep the #1 highest grossing movie this year, they'll have had it for 6 years in a row. That's 6 years where Disney has had the most profitable movie as far as movie sales. 2016 was an incredible year for Disney. 6 out of the top 10 highest grossing movies were Disney movies. 4 out of the top 5 highest grossing movies were Disney movies. And Disney had the #1, #2, and #3 highest grossing movies in 2016. Incredible year for Disney. And another fact is that Disney hasn't been outperformed in the box office top 10 since 2011. And that was arguably they were outperformed by Warner Brothers and Paramount, because Paramount and Warner Brothers with their last Harry Potter movie, The Deathly Hallows 2, was outperformed a Disney movie, and so did a Transformers movie that year. Let me just check here. Yeah, Deathly Hallows 2 by Warner Brothers was #1. And then it was followed by Transformers Dark of the Moon, Twilight Breaking Dawn 1, Hangovers 2 was #4. So Disney didn't even make it until the Pirates of the Caribbean Stranger Tide was the #5 highest grossing movie. That was a bad year for Disney. But not only did they not make #1 for the first time, every year since 2011 they've had the #1 highest grossing movie. But in 2011, that was a terrible year for Disney. They only got the 5th highest grossing movie with the Pirates movie. But Paramount had a great year that year. They had success with Transformers and with 2011, Transformers did well. They had Thor and Captain America. In 2011, still Paramount was producing the Marvel movies, but in 2012 they sold those rights to Disney for $4 billion. And it seems like that was a big mistake, because Paramount hasn't had success in the box office since then, except for hits like in 2014 with another Transformers movie, and in 2012 with Madagascar 3. But both are pretty bad franchises. I mean, Transformers and Madagascar are not exactly... the National Archive is probably not going to pick up either one of those series. Critically hasn't done well. I wouldn't pay to see a Transformers movie. I wouldn't pay to see a Madagascar movie. Paramount has they sold Marvel to Disney, and then they rely on movie franchises like Madagascar and Transformers to crack the top 10. But really, in the last 5 years, Transformers: Age of Extinction was the only Paramount movie to make the top 10 highest grossing movies. In 2014 they did that. They haven't done it since. Now how has Warner Brothers managed to do through all of this? Well, unlike Paramount, who completely fell off the map with Paramount, Warner Brothers has managed to have they've managed to stay alive in all of this. They're solid #2. Wonder Woman this year outperformed Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man Homecoming in the box office. So, got to give them credit. A DC movie beating a Marvel movie, that hasn't happened in a while. And part of what Warner Brothers has managed to do, they've been competing, but generally they've been losing to Disney. This year was different. Wonder Woman did well. Maybe Warner Brothers will continue to have success with Wonder Woman and other DC movies like the Suicide Squad and another Batman movie. Who knows? I think they've got an Aquaman movie that they're doing for next year. So Warner Brothers has stayed in this. Now I want to also talk about how Warner Brothers has had success with outlying movies. Now, when I talk about outliers, I mean movies that haven't succumbed to the repetitiveness, to the overdone style. So typically, an outlier is not a sequel. An outlier is not a superhero movie. An outlier is not a CGI animated movie like DreamWorks, Pixar, or Illumination Studios. So outliers can be horror movies. They could be war movies. They could really be anything else. They could be a comedy. Comedy movies don't seem to make the list anymore. So also in 2017, Warner Brothers had a lot of success with It, the Stephen King thriller. Did really well with that, and that's a horror movie. Horror movies don't make it very often. I consider that to be an outlier with It. Warner Brothers had a lot of success with American Sniper, a Clint Eastwood movie, and a war movie at that, which war movies don't make the list very much anymore either. Then you have Gravity, a sci-fi movie with Sandra Bullock. And it gets crazier than that, because really, when I look at it, the only movies that I would consider to be an outlier, and you guys are free to argue with me at this point, but the only movies I see to be an outlier that were produced, which made the top 10 list of highest grossing movies in the last 5 years, there are 4 movies. And 3 of them, It, American Sniper, and Gravity, were produced by Warner Brothers. The only other movie that I would consider to be an outlier would be Fox produced The Martian. That's an outlier. It doesn't conform to the abused superhero CGI animated sci-fi drama Star Wars types of themes, or the whole the abused sequelitis. So 3 out of 4 were Warner Brothers movies. That's important. Warner Brothers has managed to stay alive in this, and part of it has been their great performance with Wonder Woman this year. But Warner Brothers can't rely on beating Disney with superhero movies, at least for who knows how much longer. And Disney abuses their genres. Disney abuses their franchises. And who knows, maybe people will get tired of Star Wars and superhero movies in the near future. I, for one, I was tired of it before it started. But eventually, hopefully, other people do too. Because this this genre consolidation is going to get tiresome at some point, and when it does, people might flock to movies like It, American Sniper, and Gravity, which are all produced by Warner Brothers. That might be how Warner Brothers stays alive in all of this. It certainly has something to do with how Warner Brothers has held its ground against Disney, while Paramount has completely fallen off the map, primarily with bad franchises like Transformers and Madagascar, and because they sold Marvel. They sold Marvel to Disney, which was a huge mistake on Paramount. They got their $4 billion. They got their payout, but at what cost? At the cost of the box office sales, which, because it wasn't too long ago, in 2011, and 2010, and 2009, that's 3 years in a row where Paramount had 3 movies that made the top 10 list, each of those 3 years. Now, ever since then, Paramount's only cracked the top 10 list once, and they haven't done it since 2014 with a Transformers movie. All right, guys, that's all I got to say about Disney and their success in the box office for right now, but it'll come up again soon.